welcome back to BNC Live. If you've got a sweet tooth after your Sunday dinner tonight, you are probably ready for some dessert. So how about a slice of some homemade red velvet cake, folks? I'll take that. It's Entrepreneur Sunday on BNC, and tonight we make a stop in Florida where a breast cancer diagnosis led to a finger-licking cake business called Selina's Red Velvet. Anthony Lewis, thank you so much for joining us for Entrepreneur Sunday.
Thank you so much for having me.
We are super glad to have you with us this Sunday. So Anthony, tell us all about Selina's Red Velvet and what made you create this cake business.
Well, Selina's Red Velvet is a homemade recipe from when I was a little boy, about 3 or 4 years old. Back in 2016, I lost my job at Bank of America. I'm a single dad, and I moved to Georgia with the bank to kind of grow. And once I lost my job, me and my son had to travel back home to Florida. Shortly after, bad things going to worse, my mom ended up being diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. And I wanted to help out. I have a few brothers and sisters, and, me being a single dad, I want to do everything that I could. I know everyone has their own obligations, so I started working to try to help the chemo payments, and they are very expensive, every week paying $250 to $300 a week for chemo treatment. I wanted to do everything I could to help my mom. So after knowing she had this cake, I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what, Mom, can you show me how to make the cake? And she asked, you really want to know how to make it? And I said, yeah, I want to know how to make the cake. I have an idea. And she said, okay. So, at the time she got some strength up, and she helped me, make this cake and showed me what to do, gave me all the steps. I took it home. I mastered this cake, brought it back to her 2 or 3 times just to make sure I had the cake mastered. I brought it back to her, and on about the 4th try, or bringing it back to her rather, she told me, you got it. And once I mastered this cake, I went to social media because I understand, people don't buy what they don't know. And so I put it out and I said, hey, I have a red velvet cake. I'm going to start a business that's going to be called Selina's after my mom. And if you want to try it, just let me know. I'll bring it to you, and there's no charge. And people started to pour in and try the red velvet cake. And I knew in my mind this was a different red velvet cake than anyone had ever tasted. And from October of 2018 until now, Selina's has expanded, tremendously throughout Tampa Bay.
And the way you described it is like your church members, they licking their fingers with the icing and everything else. Talk about how important it was for you to make sure you got that recipe right. Your mom made sure you did just that. You said you went back and forth until you got it right.
Right. This cake is a very specific cake. So Selina's Red Velvet Cake is homemade from the batter to the icing, and it's not your typical red velvet cake. So, back when she made this cake when we were younger, it was, hugely popular amongst the family members, the church members, because it was a different red velvet cake. It was really good. So she wanted to make sure, I had every step correct, because doing one thing wrong could completely destroy the cake or turn out wrong. So she wanted to make sure I had this cake down packed so that once I was able to put it out, it was the same cake that she always provided way back in the 90s.
And Anthony, how rewarding was it for you to be able to turn your mom's pain into purpose?
It is honestly amazing because I had no idea, as a single dad coming into this and new to the business world, I had no idea that it was going to expand and people were going to want this red velvet cake, because I'm not like a whole baker. It's one cake. And I had no idea that it would expand like it did throughout the whole Tampa Bay area.
Wow. And your menu is pretty simple, but people actually love the cake, as we've been talking about. I saw the cupcakes on the website, the cake jars. What are your best sellers, and describe what everyone loves about Selina's?
I would say the best sellers are the 2-layer cake, the cake jars, because we recently released those, and those we're shipping out, and a dozen cupcakes. And, everyone loves that Selina's is not a box cake. It's not like a store-bought cake. And when you taste this, it's undescribable. So you can't necessarily say, oh, okay, I tasted red velvet, and some people say, oh, it's like a chocolate cake or a red chocolate cake. This is nothing like that. Selina's Red Velvet Cake is not a typical red velvet cake. And it's nothing like you've ever tasted before. I can guarantee you'll enjoy every bite of it. All of the customers do.
See, that's why I got to try it, because I am one of those people. I'm like, I don't like my red velvet to taste like chocolate. It had to be the right consistency for me to love it like that. So, okay, I'm going to take your word for it. But one other thing that I also loved about your story is that you all actually donate a portion of your sales to cancer research. Tell me more about that.
Well, when the Florida Cancer Specialist Foundation helped my mom out, they, it was so much that they did as like a family environment to make the people that were going in for treatment feel comfortable. And so everything that they did for her and keeping us involved, I really appreciate it. So, what I do now is donate $1 from each one of our orders to the Florida Cancer Specialists Foundation. We'll be getting more into different charities as well, and changing up what Selina's is doing and how we're donating and giving back even more. But we do that just to help out someone that might be going through that same fight as my mom, not just with breast cancer, but with any type of cancer.
And we know so many people struggle with that, so that is such a blessing that you all are doing that. So, Anthony, you also lost your job, as you mentioned earlier, but you didn't give up. What advice would you give to other aspiring entrepreneurs like yourself?
I would definitely say to keep going, because I definitely feel like anything that could be yours, should be yours, it will be yours if you keep going, because some people say that there's so many different obligations that's standing in your way, and you'll get so many different no's along the road. There were so many, doors that closed that I felt like, it won't happen. But if you keep going, there is a yes that you're going to get. You just keep going and keep pushing and pursuing. And it's just me and my son, and I was able to, completely expand Selina's throughout Tampa Bay, even in restaurants and, just all over. And it's just completely amazed me. Completely took me out of work from working in this call center. So never stop what it is that you're dreaming or pursuing, because it will happen. It might not be today or tomorrow, but it'll happen.
That's a very important message there. So, all right, you got my sweet tooth going. I'm ready for some cake. You got to tell all of our viewers, Anthony, where can people find your cakes, and do you ship them?
Yes, we are shipping the red velvet jars. We're able to ship those now. We have been being asked for a while, so that product is something we're able to ship out now. You can find us on Instagram. We are _Selina's Red _ Selina's Red Velvet on Facebook, and we do have a website. You can find us at selinasred.com.
Awesome. Well, Anthony, many blessings to you and the business, and also our prayers are going out to your mom as well, to just keep her safe and healthy. We appreciate you for joining us for Entrepreneur Sunday.
All right. Thank you so much. You guys have a great day.
You too.